Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rex here with Carpentry Plus. Today we're going to be talking about cabinet joinery. We have three main types of joinery that we use when we're building cabinets. That's dado, pocket screw joinery, and lock miter joinery. Um, just to name a few, but those are the three of the main types that we use, and we're going to get into those today. We're going to start right here with the dado. We use a dado when we're connecting our side panel of a cabinet to our face frame. So it's basically we've got a dado cut in our vertical side face frame piece. Technically it's not a dado. Apparently a dado goes across the grain, so this would just be a groove. I've always called it a dado, so I'm going to keep calling it a dado. Anyhow, so we've got that dado cut. In this case it's 3/4 of an inch wide. We've got a 1/4 inch reveal here on the outside and a 1/2 inch on the inside. And then our plywood fits into that nice and neat. So when we're assembling our cabinets, which we'll get into in a later video, we've got this connection here. It'll get glue in the dado, and then we'll clamp the piece in. There's no other fasteners required, either in the face or pocket screws in the side, to attach that side panel. So we use a lot of pocket screws in our cabinets. I know a lot of shops will pocket screw the side panels as well. It's plenty strong enough. I have no issue with it, other than you've got to do something with those pocket screws. So if that's outside of a cabinet that's going to be seen, you can't have pocket screws there. If it's the inside of a bookcase that's going to be seen, you can't have pocket screws there. So we use this technique because it's a one and all solution for all of our cabinets, so that we've got this one process and we're not having to adapt or modify multiple processes for that one technique. So we'll cut this on the table saw right here with a stacked dado blade, and which we've already got set up, and we'll show you that process here real quick. Here's a little diagram of the dado with dimensions. I realize the dimensions are a little blurry, but I think you get the idea. All right, here's a look at the setup. We've got a stacked dado blade in the table saw. We've got our 1/2 inch between the blade and the fence, and we're utilizing feather boards to help us keep the cuts accurate and our fingers safe. All right, here's a quick look at those dados. Those parts are ready for assembly when we get to that point. All right, so now that we're done with the dados, we'll move over to what is probably our most common joiner that we use here in the shop, and that's pocket hole or pocket screw joinery. It's quick, add a little glue, super strong, and effective for us. So I'll do a little demonstration here, and then we'll batch out the rest of this stack here that was, from when we were cutting the length, we staged everything over here, and now we're ready to drill those pocket holes. And there we have all of our face frame parts with their pocket holes drilled, ready for assembly. All right, so for our last type of joiner we're going to cover in this face frame section is a lock miter joint. So if you're not familiar with that, it's basically this really cool looking router bit that you'll run your pieces of frame. You'll run one piece through on the flat, the other piece through on the vertical up against the fence, and those create opposing cuts that lock together. The key advantage here is that locking feature where it aids in alignment, so that when you're assembling large pieces or long pieces, it helps you get that joint lined up. Whereas if it was just a straight miter cut, you'd kind of be fighting it. And again, for shorter pieces, a miter cut's great, but for some longer pieces or larger pieces that have multiple sides, like a small island, I find this very helpful and useful. I'm not going to get too deep into the setup and all that, because once again we have a video on this specific topic, the miter or the lock miter bit and the setup of that bit. So be sure and check that out if you want more information. But for now, we'll just go ahead and show you a couple close-ups of the bit, and then we'll run our pieces through. All right, so that covers the basics of the three main types of joiner we're going to be using with these face frames. So we got our dados to accept the sides of our cabinets. We've got our pocket screws to pocket screw some joinery together, and then we've also got the lock miter joints over here. So, and we'll be touching on these more as we go along. You'll see these in the process, and as we get things assembled, and we'll talk more about them as we go along. Just wanted to take some time to show you the process and a little bit of the why and what goes into it. And again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for our next video. Thanks.